So here he is from the side. Foot's going to hit a little bit out in front, but it's not bad. So I would like at that position if he starts to pull in. So he is going to bring his foot down through in a diagonal fashion. He gets it out in front, he gets a nice reach, and this is when he starts to need to pull back in, but he just hits. See how he just stomps down? You'll see on the good example someone who, what we call slices, where he just catches. He's got a really good hinge on his ankle here, rolls forward, gets a really nice push up, but he's really vertical. So he spends a lot of, you can actually see, it looks like he's coming off a long jump where he gets so much height that he spends too much time in the air. So then when his foot comes down, it just lands. There's no actual pull. What has to happen is this leg has to pull through. That allows him to use his hip as for torque. He is bouncing down the track. He's so springy. And why I'm saying that is that toe off, he's pushing straight up, which is why he gets so much height when he runs. So when you see the good example, when they're going by, they're going straight ahead where he is going up in the air. Hits, again, ankles work well. He's very explosive, but it's too much in the air. He's got too much horizontal drive, too much ground reaction force to push him up in the air. And going backwards, you can see, we'll go back slow. You can see his hair fly up in the air. Every step, that is the vertical force that he's pushing up with. And especially on this step, you can really see, you know, the background coming up higher on his chest. So very springy, but too springy. He doesn't allow his body a chance to generate tangential force because his foot comes too much underneath his body. When we watch him from the front, great looking feet. Work really well. It's just he is so vertical that he's up in the air too much. When we see him start, we'll get to the race in a second. So good horizontal push here, and what I'm measuring is the shin angle here when he loads and when he extends. So watch how his shin drives up. And here he's in a perfect position. He is underneath the hip. That's our first measurement. You can see he's below 30 degrees. But when he drives up, his drive is actually pushing up at 45 degrees. We need to keep that below 30. And when you see the good example at the end, you'll see what I'm talking about. Good scissor, good foot hit. But in this position, he is pointing up at 60 degrees and he's launching up at 60 degrees. So again, while someone else is driving forward, he's driving up. Let's watch his hips. I don't know how level the wall is in back. But he's pushing up in the air. And he's slowing down there. So we got to get him to get his shins down to drive forward. So in the race, does a good job. He has a good strategy here. There's really no strategy for 200. You really gotta win the first 50 if you want to be in the game. He's cruising along here. His problem is he's so vertical and he's pushing up. And again, when you see the good position, you'll see that the really good sprinters have a decent forward lean in their torso. Because really, if his body is straight up, his momentum is going backwards. And that's why he gets caught here at the end. Let me get him even here. His head is back. His shoulders are back. I mean, there's a good shot right there of someone who's tired. And so the more he starts to lean back here at the end, he can't bring his trail leg through. And so when you start to lose speed, the first thing that goes is you start to stand up too much and you fall backwards. And then that forces you to lose speed on this toe off. So it's going to be how fast can he get his foot off the ground and through. But as he gets tired here, he starts to fall back and he falls way back at the end there. So he just loses his momentum. He's got too much body going the wrong way. He's got to get everything out in front of where he's pushing. Only Michael Johnson was able to do something like that. And there's only one Michael Johnson. At the end here, I'm going to put some good examples of what we're looking for. And then I'll send this over. And when you get me his workout schedule and such, I'll put together a workout.
All right, so this is what good ones look like. We'll get her up to speed with us here. So you can see she's got quite a bit of lift when she's up in the air. Leg's going to come pretty straight, slice down into the ground, so we call that tangential velocity. Foot hits, heel is underneath chin. We can see a 4-foot strike. At mid-stance, I mean, her leg comes down so fast that mid-stance is right underneath, and her swing leg is, you can see, getting carried through here in a very tight fashion. She's going to load. Her knee is now underneath her butt. And then we can see when her knee is just past her butt or just at the very edge of her butt, we can see her heel is off the ground. But more importantly, where her swing thigh is, that it's almost parallel with the ground. Gets 100 degrees in her split, leg comes straight, pulls down and through. Again, 4-foot strike. Good carriage. It's tight, parallel to the ground or better. And again, when the knee is underneath the butt, we see heel is off the ground, and then we can see that heel flip, knee extend, bringing her forward. Posture is perfect. See the swipe down underneath, hits. Again, great carriage. Slight lean in her torso, and again, we can see this leg pop forward and bring her through. If we see her same run from the front, we can see that her right heel is underneath her right ear. Everything's straight up and down on the side. Everything's coming forward. Left leg straight up and down on the side. Everything's in perfect place. When we watch her foot come off the ground, we see her heel move toward us. So all of her drive is directly in front of us. Same thing with her right leg. Heel comes through, toward or moving forward. From the start, we'll go from a 2-point, just because you can really see his angles. His first push, his shin is below 30 degrees. Heel is off the ground on all of his steps. When knee is over, his hip is over his knee, we can see the direction which he is pushing. Here's his vector, which is a nice low angle. And at toe off, he keeps that same angle, so everything is getting driven forward. Foot hits. Again, heel is way off the ground. And he's going to roll over. So there's his hip over knee, again under 30 degrees. A nice long load. Extension, not full extension. Knee never comes fully extended. Foot hits again, heel is off the ground. He's starting to roll over his forefoot to drop that shin down. And on his fourth step, again, heel is off the ground. And he still has a tremendous drive forward, especially on this step here. We can see where most people are standing straight up. This gentleman is still driving forward, even on his seventh step. Still moving forward. Those are what good ones look like.